Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Morning Drive. Thanks for tuning in with me. Happy Friday to you. Payday Friday if you're lucky. Oh, I got it this morning, got in the truck. Stone empty. Didn't even check the gas. I could have ran out of gas yesterday. Didn't even pay attention. So I have to swing by the gas station this morning, so hopefully you hang with me. But anyway, hopefully you had a great night last night. I just want to say thanks to those of you that kind of tuned in and did a little chatting. I appreciate it. And I'll go ahead and get the shameless plug out of the way early. If you're watching this, go to Twitch and follow me if you can, or follow me or subscribe on wherever streaming platform you're on. I definitely appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate you helping me with getting this new stream up and going. Your feedback, your comments, all that's been awesome. I definitely I take it all into consideration. And for the most part, the suggestions have been really great. A couple of them were a little off. Somebody suggested that I should get a pair of artificial boobs, and I should wear those and just cover my face and show the boobs, and I'd get more people to tune into the channel. Now, there may be some truth to that. I don't know. But I will say that I thought that myself a little while back. I thought the exact same thing. So it's kind of funny that they mentioned that. I thought, well, maybe, it's what they say, sex sells. So I said, maybe I just need that cover image that actually will draw people's attention. But it was kind of funny. It was a really good email, and I appreciate it. It made me laugh. Good belly laugh. But I definitely wanted to say thank you guys. I mean, you've been great. And I'm kind of lucky, I think, because I've went to some of the other channels, and I've seen that a lot of them get trolled, and then I'm pretty fortunate because you guys are all pretty damn good. I mean, I'm very lucky to have the guys and of course the females that have tuned in to watch. As I grow this channel, as I kind of grow into it and learn exactly what it is that I want the channel to become, it's kind of becoming that. It's really not, I wanted it to originally be political, more, have a little bit of a slant, but I found out that, what, all I got to do, I don't have to have any kind of a slant. All I have to do is just make sure that I'm doing something that I enjoy. And if it tends to go to a political, that's fine. We'll do the politics, we'll do all that stuff as it comes. But most of the topics we come up with are just whatever people are talking about or thinking about at that time. I did have one email that was kind of weird. It was it kind of rambled on, and it made me think that whoever wrote this email, because it wasn't just like one paragraph. I mean, it was a very lengthy email, and as I read it, it kind of made me believe that whoever wrote it may have been on medication, may have been medicated, or maybe drinking at the time. I don't know. It was a very rambling message. So I really couldn't grasp a topic, so I apologize. And if that was your email, I think it was Reg, R-E-G. I can't even remember the username. I mean, it was very long and rambling, but I thank you for the effort. I just kind of didn't get the point of it. I didn't really get the gist of the topic, I guess. It had something to do with the cat. I mean, I did get that. For those of you that watched the other day, I have this stupid cat. It's not mine, it's my son's. But you know how it is when you have kids. Sometimes kids want pets or animals, and then it's the parents that end up getting stuck with them. Well, that's kind of what happened in my case. I had a daughter that wanted a cat, and I said no, and of course the wife said yes, so I was overruled. And then I have, you know, my son got a cat that was given to him. He was a caregiver at a elderly facility, and the lady passed away and gave her cat to my son, and I said no, and my wife said yes, and I was once again overruled. So I have these 2 cats. One of them just won't die. He's I think 20 now. I mean, we've had him for at least 20 years. I mean, the cat just won't die, and he can't see, can't hear, just like bellows super loud every now and then when he wants your attention, but he just, for some reason, won't take that eternal nap. I guess he's just not ready, and it's probably because he's spoiled, and just like all the animals we've ever had, they all live forever, but you know, great cat for my kids. I'm a dog person, as I've said before. I had my golden retriever, and that's, you know, I'm just a dog person, so to have cats, kind of unusual for me, but, and then we have the second cat, which is the one that the other day climbed up on top of me when I was, you know, I was like sitting there, and it just kind of like, it has no fear of anything. It doesn't care what you're doing, what you're in the middle of. If it wants attention, Mr. Whiskers is just going to climb up there and get the attention. So I was sitting at my desk, and you know, I was actually doing the live stream, and he just come walking underneath the microphone and just climbed right on top of me and kind of put himself right on my shoulder. And he has this really loud purr, this clacking that he does when he's content, I guess. But that was kind of like, you know, on both of those cats, I got roped into having both of them. And I keep saying I'm not a cat person, but for some reason, these stupid cats gravitate towards me like I like them, and I don't. I tolerate them. But, yeah, Mr. Whiskers is a little different. He is, by every stretch of the imagination, the weirdest cat. He has no fear of anything. Not vacuum cleaners, not animals, nothing. Because this elderly lady that actually had him since he was a kitten, all he was babied. Never been outside, never been an outdoor cat. And he doesn't even really have, like most cats have, like, you know, they have cat hair or, you know, fur or whatever you want to call it. Well, his fur is like human hair. It's really very different. But he's a very strange animal, and I think we've had him now for, I think he's about 14 years old or 15 years old, and he just, you know, they're all part of the family now. It's kind of like when I had the dog. I don't know if those of you that have had animals before, the dog I had was, you know, we went and got her from a breeder. She was a AKC, you know, she's a champion bloodline. We paid $1,200 at the time, or $12 or $1,500 for her. I'm not sure which one, but we paid quite a bit, more than a pet store dog, and she was very intelligent, very, you know, champion bloodline, and probably the smartest animals I've ever seen are the golden retriever. It's got to be one of them. Now, I don't know if you have dogs, you know, or cats or animals, but don't get me wrong, I love all animals. I always say I'm just not a cat person because they don't really do anything. They kind of eat, sleep, and shit, and they just don't, they don't protect your house. Although Mr. Whiskers does think he's a dog, so I think, you know, he's kind of like, is there such thing as a cat dog? Because he thinks he's a dog. He'll walk on a leash, and he'll run to the front door and alert you if somebody's at the door. So he is kind of weird in that respect. But, you know, my golden retriever, I could talk to her just like I would talk to one of my kids, and she listened, she understood me. You know, we had rules of the house, and she obeyed the rules of the house. You know, she was a very intelligent dog. And, you know, and after 14 years, it's like losing a family member. It's like losing a child almost. So yeah, it was not a, you know, that was probably the low life of the last, you know, past years, is actually losing my dog. But I keep saying the same thing. I'll say, well, I'm going to get another one. But you just can't jump in there and replace something like that. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and swing into the gas station because, as I said this morning, I woke up and, to my surprise, because I am absolutely oblivious to what goes on in my life, I had no gas. So I have to, this morning I'm going to have to go ahead and get some gas, and I appreciate your patience. I'll try and get in here where I don't block somebody else. There we go. Hopefully. Yeah, and of course I have to go to a Circle K, which is obviously the most busy place. So I'm going to leave you guys run so you can kind of be the security in my truck. I'll see you in a few minutes. Hey guys, for those of you that stuck with me, thank you, appreciate you. Normally I go ahead and I pay at the pump, but I had to have them resend me one of my bank cards. I don't know what the hell is going on here. There we go. For those of you that have an ATM card or a bank card, I always suggest watching your accounts closely to catch things, and it's exactly what happened on mine. I started noticing these reoccurring charges pop up, and I was dealing with them one at a time, but then I realized there just started becoming more and more charges that, you know, like for example, we're looking at buying a house, having a house built, and I pulled my credit report one time. Well, Equifax or Experian, one of those credit bureaus, started doing my credit report monthly. They started to charge it every month $20. So because, you know, and I hadn't been watching I just hadn't been watching the my bank account, because to be honest with you, it's just kind of there. When money goes in, and when I spend it, I spend it. I don't really worry too much about it. So I don't monitor it as much as I should. But then I started looking, and I saw all these Experian or credit card charges, and they had automatically, even though I pulled it only once, they had signed me up for some kind of credit care thing or something, which is just a scam all the way around. I don't know why anybody would ever do that when you can get your credit report for free. And if you're in my case, I was going to buy a house, so I knew they would do it anyway. I just wanted to see my FICO score. But so that was hitting regular. Then I saw a couple internet charges that looked, very strange to me. And sure enough, I went. And a lot of these things that you go buy or you go do, you've got to really read the small print, because they will stick it to you with these, trying to get these monthly charges. One of them was I had joined a gym here locally that was wiped out after the hurricane, and I contacted them, I called their corporate offices, and they says, oh, well, we have another location about 50 miles north of you. And I said, do you really think I'm going to go 50 miles north to go to a gym? And I said, so cancel my membership. Well, they never did. They just kept billing it. So, and then, probably the most surprising one, I saw a reoccurring charge. This is amazing. From Little Caesars Pizza. Now, I mean, I've had Little Caesars Pizza before, but I have never in my life seen a reoccurring charge for Little Caesars Pizza. I actually went in to see, was there some kind of a special Little Caesars club that I was being billed for? I had no idea. So anyway, I had to contact my bank, and they scanned through my checking account and everything, and gave me full credit for all the things that were not supposed to be there. And I will say, my bank is it's Chase Bank. You know, I had Wells Fargo. I pretty much had all the different banks, and I think I have 2 or 3 other ones somewhere out there. But the one I primarily use is a Chase Bank, and they are absolutely great at, if there's ever any kind of a question on anything on your account, they will make it right, and then you get the money back like in just a few hours. It'll be back in your account. So, but what I told them to do, I said, cancel the account, not the account, but the card, and they're going to send me a new card. Now, in a way that's inconvenient, because I do have things that go on there automatically every month, just little, like my Amazon Prime, things of that nature, that are just billed to the card. So now I'm going to have to go back. My cell phone bill gets billed every month there. So I'm going to have to go back and re-enter and figure out, go through my account again and find out all the ones that I legitimately have auto-billed. But yeah, it was absolutely eye-opening that if you don't pay attention, that a lot of these companies are very underhanded, and I'm sure they probably think, oh, well, is he going to notice $5.99 a month? or $10.99 or even $20 a month, most cases I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have just, you know, noticed that the balance is a little lower. Maybe I probably wouldn't even have noticed that. It's one of those things where you got to watch your credit report, and you got to watch your bank accounts. You got to everything. I tried to, when my kids were young, as they were growing up, I tried to instill upon them, because they wanted credit cards. I'm 18 or whatever. I can get a credit card now. And I said, well, I tried to make them understand that, yeah, you can get a credit card, but you do got to pay those things off. And, they didn't even have jobs at the time, and they got credit cards without jobs, which just blew my mind. And I'm like, don't you have, they put down student. They were issued credit cards being students, not credit cards that required a parent's signature or anything. No, they just were issued credit cards. No way to pay, no way, but because they put students, they were issued these cards. And I told them back then, you got to take care of your credit. You got to watch your credit report. Your social security numbers should be one of the most guarded things that you have, because everything you do in life revolves around your credit. It's the difference of paying a $600 car payment or paying a $199 car payment, or it's everything revolves around your credit. So luckily they were mature enough, they were smart enough to kind of heed my warning, and they've built their credit up to be very strong, and they've been very responsible. My son is really great about it. He will go ahead and he uses his card for everything because he gets points on it, and he immediately pays it off. He never carries a balance because he's got the cash, but he'll use the card and pay that sucker off every month in full. And it's kind of funny because I asked him one time, I said, do you even carry cash? And he looked at me, he's like, cash? What is that? And he goes, I got a card. I was like, so that kind of, he doesn't even use his debit card. Everything is these credit cards he's got. And his bank account, he's got the money, and he won't buy anything. If he doesn't have the money in the bank, he won't buy it. If he wants he wanted a 65-inch television, he'll go and he'll buy a 60-inch or 65-inch, I think it was, television. When he could go in and pay cash, he'll put it on the card and then just send the cash when the bill comes, or pay it with the bill. So a very smart way to do it. He's gotten a ton of freebies, ton of points on his cards. So kudos to him. So yeah, I actually had I don't know if you guys were on the stream yesterday, and I was talking about I got a call from a correctional facility in Arizona. I've been trying to get back there. That's where I'm originally moved from, Arizona, down to Georgia. My wife's father is in his 80s, and they were having some problems, and he was health-wise. I think they were going to put him into a home or something, and he didn't want to go, and my wife was going to come down, and we thought we were going to have to take care of him. But they actually took all his medicine, all the medicine he had, they took it into the pharmacist and had it kind of sorted through, and they were able to eliminate almost a dozen of the different, he had just tons of medications that he had been prescribed, and it was so difficult for him to keep up with the medications, and so they took it to the pharmacist, and I think it was seven different medicines that they were able to eliminate completely, because they were, the other medicines he was taking, they were conflicting with that medicine. Anyway, long story short, they sorted out his medicine. The pharmacist was able to put them in packs, these little packs, and so and every day he knows what to take when, simplified everything for him, and now he's 100%, he's better. He's been on cruises, he's been taking cruises, and God bless him. It was amazing what happened just with the medications. They overprescribed the medications, they prescribed the medications that conflicted with other medications, And just by straightening that out, he went from, going downhill to now been on 3 cruises already and really kind of back to, back to his old self. So that was amazing. But yeah, he was, so we had moved from Arizona to Georgia. And then when that all kind of, took care of itself, we ended up here in Florida because we wanted to be on the water, thought it might be nice. Which, to be honest with you, it's not all that. I mean, it was good for the first year or whatever, but being here in Florida compared to Arizona, our thought was it's going to be the same. It'll be warm, just like it was in Arizona. Blue sky, sunshine every day there. We figured it'd be the same here. And as you can look outside, you see it's not. It's kind of gray and overcast, cloudy. It's been very cold, rainy. It's not, we live in the Panhandle, so it's not like living in maybe Orlando or Miami or some of the other areas. But the one thing that's consistent throughout this state is they have this stuff that kind of hangs in the air. You can't really see it, but it's called humidity. And it's terrible. You can take an ice cold shower, step out of the shower and be sweating because of the humidity that's here. You don't have that in Arizona. It is a dry heat. And then they have mosquitoes here that you can put saddles on. So, we came here and they're like, oh, well, we have mosquitoes that are everywhere because there's swamp everywhere. There's wet, and, well, they carry Zika, or they carry this, or all these mosquitoes carry something. So you're like, oh my God, what did I move into? I moved to Florida, and it's like the mosquitoes are carrying stuff, and your humidity, it's miserable. So I've been trying to get back to Arizona, and I got a call the other day from the Department of Corrections out there for a position, substantially more money than I'm making doing what I'm doing. And as I said before, it's not always about the money. It's about job satisfaction. And as I listened to the lady describe the job, I realized, man, that's a perfect job because it really is. It fits right into my background. My background is business, technology, innovation, but I'm also a Six Sigma black belt, so I'm very detail oriented. I like to dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure everything's filled out, and I love to automate things. So it really was a good fit. So I'm kind of hoping she's going to get back to me to make the move back and everything. The salary was X, and I really kind of wanted Y. So I think she'll call me back next week and let me know how things went. So, but it might be a good thing. I mean, I'd love to do the move, go back to where I was happy. The nice thing about Arizona, and I've said this before if you've watched the stream, where I lived in Arizona, I was literally just a short drive to anything. There was so much more to do in just a short little drive time. I could be, especially in Vegas, I could go to Laughlin in a few hours, a couple more hours, I'm in Vegas, or another hour or so I'm in Vegas. So there was so much more to do and enjoy. And for those of you that have never been to Vegas, you don't know what you're missing. I'm telling you, it is awesome. It is one of the best places to go, have a good time. Now, if you're a gambler, which I do poker tournaments, but I'm not really a slot machine. I'm not really a big gambler. So if you're not a gambler, it's a very inexpensive place to go and have amazing food, great times, great shows. If you're a gambler, it can get expensive if you're out there spending the money, but even then, it almost feels like the whole balance of Las Vegas is to have you go out there with, say, $1,000, stay, lose your $1,000, and go back home going, wow, that was great, I had a great time, because even though you lost $1,000, you probably had some of the best food, you probably had some great shows that you enjoyed. So we used to love to go out there, and it got to the point where we had actually accepted positions out there, and we're going to move to Vegas because it was actually just so much fun to be able to be on the Strip or go to the casinos, and just when you wanted to have fun, it was always there. Wanted to see a show, we could go see Garth Brooks or Lance Burton, a magician. We could go see Celine Dion was out there. My wife liked Celine. My mother at the time, before she passed away, I sent her to go see Bette Midler. She was a huge, to her dying day, she was a huge Bette Midler fan. And it was probably one of the better things I have done, that I was so happy to have done it. I flew them out to Vegas, put them out in a hotel. Or no, actually, they drove out. I was going to fly them out. My mom wanted to drive out, and she had one of those Sebring convertible cars, so they drove to Vegas. But I put them up in a nice hotel, and they went and they had wonderful seats to the show, and she talked about it, and just they loved going. I sent my wife with her. Believe it or not, my wife and my mother got along fine for the most part. Every now and then they'd butt heads, but nothing. When my mom, I don't know if you guys ever lost anybody to cancer. My mother smoked all her life. Growing up, she smoked, as I remembered, and so she pretty much 2 packs a day, maybe, then down to maybe a pack a day. I don't know. But the thing was, one day she had a back pain, and she sat in the hospital. She went to the emergency room. Her back was hurting, and it had hurt for a few days, lower back, and she went and she sat in the emergency room hospital. Now, at the time, I had my restaurants, and I was taking care and just working and doing building these restaurants up. 18 hours in the emergency room. She just sat there, and they literally put her in a wheelchair, wheeled her into some corner, and left her. So my wife had went home and couldn't find her, and then finally went up to the hospital and found out where she went. Went to the hospital and found out she'd been sitting there for a total of 18 hours. She went in, and my wife called me on the phone, and I lost it. I got my car, I went up there, I busted into the emergency room, and I just lit the place up. I was like, get me an effing doctor. I want to know why my mother, and I just went off. And they like freaked out, and they got a doctor over, and, he basically, he said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, I want you to do your effing job. There's no reason she should be here for 18 hours. That's bullshit. She's got better insurance than anybody in this effing place. I said, and I was very hot. And people had come, my mom even said, yeah, people had come and gone that were there well after she was. So, anyway, the doctor wrote her a prescription, asked her what was wrong and everything, and on the spot, told the nurse, write her prescription for this and that. And I said, whoa. I said, what are you doing? And this is what the doctor said. People her age hurt their backs all the time. I'm going to give her a muscle relaxant and painkiller. She'll be fine. Never looked at her, never did an x-ray, did absolutely nothing. Asked her what was going on. She said, my back, I'm in such pain. And he said, people her age hurt themselves all the time and blah, blah. I was livid. I said, you're not going to do this. You're not going to, I said, and he said, well, what do you want me to do, doctor? Just like that. And I just looked at him. I says, do your fucking job. And he says, okay, you know what? Send her up, get an x-ray. This, and he made this whole big, and they did. They set her up. The x-ray comes back, and it shows that on the lower part of her lung, there's something they don't like. And so he says, I've seen some things I don't really like. We're going to send her. Come to find out, long story short, she had small cell lung cancer, stage 4 or whatever it was like. And they would never have found it if they didn't do the x-ray. So They come back, he apologized, everybody apologized, which I told them where they could stick their apology. But anyway, so now they're trying to talk to her about treatment. Now, I don't know, for those of you that don't know what small cell lung cancer is, especially late stage, it's not something that you're going to recover from. I mean, it's a terminal type of a thing. But what it is they said the pain in my mother's back, they looked at that, they said we could treat that with some radiation and it will take care of that. And so the pain would have went away. Now, about a year earlier, my mother had went in for an x-ray. So we had 2 x-rays, an x-ray from a year ago and an x-ray that they did that day. And the cancer itself had not really, it was very little change at all. And my mother was otherwise healthy other than the back pain. She hadn't had shortness of breath or any problems. But they kept telling her she had to do chemo. Chemo, we got to do this chemo, we got to be aggressive, we got to do all this. And I told my mom, I says, look, it's about quality of life at this time. It's about quality of life. Do you want to get about chemo is going to poison your body, it's going to weaken your immune system. Do you want to go there when you can see that even though it's late stage cancer and that, over a year, it's taken, my mom was 65. I says, you're 65. Over the last year, it hasn't done there. I says, if you do the chemo and that, I just don't think it's the best thing. It's all about quality of life, and then maybe later, your cancer can't get any worse, it's what it is. But they talked her into doing this chemo, and it took her from like 150, 155 pounds down to like 80 pounds. She was frail, like dementia, it whittled her down in less than a year, and she passed away. So, I'm going to tell you folks, I mean, now today's things are a lot different. They've got new delivery methods for cancer treatments. They've got, a lot of new things that have changed. They've even got, if you ever get a chance, anybody watching this that knows somebody with cancer, has cancer, whatever, get on YouTube and look up, just do a search for DCA cancer cure. Just do a search for DCA cancer cure. You'd be amazed to find out that there's things out there that the pharmaceutical companies won't even touch that are possibly cancer curing, medications or substances that are out there, but because they can't get a patent on those things and there's no money in it for them, they don't pursue those particular medicines or treatments. And DCA, if you type in DCA cancer cure, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They don't pursue the viable things that can really truly be a positive thing for anybody with cancer. Now, the DCA, I've kind of been following it over the years. There's actually a company that's got a patent on it now, and as a form of cancer treatment. But the thing is, all the different schools that there's major universities. We're talking Berkeley, Harvard. They're major universities have been studying this. And there's a lot of people that have actually self-treated and cured their non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and all that. They've actually, amazing things about this particular treatment. I don't want to say treatment because it's not prescribed. This was a drug that had been on the market for 20, 30 years, whatever, however long, to treat infants, a specific problem in infants. But they found out the doctor used this and treated lung cancer, breast cancer, brain cancer, the most common cancers he treated with this DCA, and found out not only does it kill the cancer cells, it leaves the surrounding cells and everything healthy. Let me say that again. It kills the cancer cells, leaves the other cells healthy. That's what they're looking for in a cancer cure. So, anyway, a lot of interesting stuff. But, you know, as I said, I lost my mother to cancer, so I'm really, really kind of one of those people that I'm not a big fan of chemo and all those poisons. You know, they're poisoning your body to treat something. So I'm much more likely to try alternative forms of care before I would do something like that. But look up DCA, cancer cure, and you'll learn a little. And you can even research it beyond the YouTube. You can Google it, and you'll see a lot of the research that's been done. Guys, I'm getting into work, so if I lose you, I usually lose my signal right up here. Thanks for sticking with me this morning. Glad that you had a little bit of time to spend. Please follow me, subscribe to me if you can. Love to have you join me tonight. I do the afternoon drive at about 3:15, 3:30, and then I'll be on tonight about 7 o'clock. So if you can come and join me, I sure would love to hear from you and find out if any of you guys have had the same kind of experience I have with your parents or somebody you know. The medicines today have to get better with gene therapy, with all the... if I lose you, have a great day. Have a fantastic... Yeah, whenever I get the poor connection, I don't like to talk because I don't know if it gets choppy or what you guys see. So wait till it's kind of the signal clears up, and I'll say goodbye to you guys. Have a great day. Have a great Friday. Make the most out of it. And like I said, hopefully it's your payday and you got some money to spend. Go out to dinner, go out to a movie. That's what I'm going to end up doing this weekend. I'm definitely going to go do those movies. I'll definitely go do a poker tournament probably on Saturday. But thanks again for tuning in and staying with me on the ride. And I hope to see you tonight. I hope to see you 7 o'clock if you could drop by and join me. I definitely want to make sure that I have a good show, and what makes it better is when you guys show up and participate. I love it. So thanks again, and go in here and get this day over with. Quick and easy. It's going to be a fast day today. All right. Easy out. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me. See you later.